Live streaming is on. How's everybody doing today? We're going to start science in a moment. Um, it's hot out there, and I'm loving it as the summer baby I am. I'm a spring baby, I lied, but I love summer. So anyway, how you doing, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Some of you took the task test last Friday. You're getting results. Some people are ecstatic. Some are a little disappointed. Some are very disappointed. But know this, that learning is a lifelong process, and being committed to the process helps get you closer to that goal line and jump that goal when it's time. So let's take up where we left off. If you find that you're needing extra help in any of these subject areas, let us know. That's why we're here. If you need a little more intense focus, holla. We're here for that. We're here to help you succeed. You put the time in, you let this be your focus, you let this be your dream maker. We can make it happen. We can make it happen. There are folks that have completed this program within this month and the last few months. And so they are a testament that it can be done. And you can do it too. See it in your mind's eye. See it and believe it that you can have that for yourself. So today we are, excuse me, we're kind of ending this one long chapter that we've been on, where we're talking about the impact of humans on natural systems. And so let's look at what we have. I want to share a screen. Oh, share this screen. It's where the good stuff is. Okay, why you want to show out? Why you want to act? All right. And um, so I want to focus on that right now. What we're doing today is to evaluate. And why is this looking like this? I don't care for that at all. Let's try something else. Yeah, very good. So we want to evaluate the technology that, hold on, we want to evaluate the technology. Hold on, you're not seeing me. There we go. That reduces the impact of human activities on natural systems. So, pre-reading, here are our questions that we're going to look, on which we're going to look for the answers. Number one, why is the Clean Air Act important? Number two, why is it important to develop alternative energy sources? And number three, what can you do to reduce the amount of pollution that you produce? Have this little picture here. When you can see how we're all contributing, we're losing our trees, we're having all these excess carbon emissions. So we're going to explore the Clean Air Act in the 21st century. So let's take a look then at our passage for the day, reducing air pollution. So the first thing we want to know is, can a car run on hydrogen? Right now we know they're running on electricity, and we're having more models available that are electric and getting closer to being affordable. So can a car run on hydrogen? Yes, but so far it is not feasible for more than just a few models. And a major problem with hydrogen cars is the lack of hydrogen fuel. Many ways, there are many ways to reduce pollution that are being developed. What can you do to help? So, the Clean Air Act. Air quality is a measure of pollutants in the air. More pollutants mean poor air quality. Poor air quality started to become a problem after the Industrial Revolution. So we've been talking about this now for 150 some years. Factories burned coal for energy. Gasoline burned by cars and trucks were added greatly to the pollution. And by the mid 1900s, air quality in many big cities was very bad. Oh, and incidents in London and US cities alerted people to the extent of the problem. People were literally dropping dead. It was clear that air quality needed to be protected. In 1970, in the United States, the Clean Air Act was passed, and it limits what can be released into the air. The air in the US is much cleaner now than it was 50 years ago, where you could actually see carbon layers uh, in the air. And particularly if you flew down into a city like Los Angeles, the air actually looked brown. But air pollution has not gone away. Vehicles, factories, and power plants still release more than 150 million tons of pollutants into the air each year. So, how do we do this? Reducing pollutants from fossil fuels. So, there are two types of strategies for reducing pollution from fossil fuels: gas, coal, and oil. Number one, use less fossil fuel. And number two, prevent pollutants from entering our air. So, how do we use less fossil fuel? We can reduce our use of fossil fuels in several ways. Number one, conserve fossil fuels. For example, turning out lights when we're not using them saves electricity. And why does this help? Because a lot of the electricity we use comes from coal burning power plants. We can use fossil fuels more efficiently. For example, driving a fuel efficient car lets you go further on each gallon of gas, and this can add up to a big savings in fossil fuel use. Next, keep up with technology. Hybrid cars run on electricity that would be wasted during braking. These cars use gas only as a backup fuel, and so as a result, they produce just 10% of the air pollution produced by regular cars. And finally, keep air free of pollutants. Some of the pollutants from fossil fuels can be filtered out of exhaust before it is released into the air. Figure below. Let's take a look at this figure. So this was on a car, a catalytic converter, which is part of the exhaust system, filters some of that exhaust. And here we go. Other pollutants can be changed to harmless compounds before they're released. Two widely used technologies are scrubbers and catalytic converters. And scrubbers are used in factories and power plants, and they remove particles and waste gas from exhaust before it's released into the air. And then the catalytic converter on motor vehicles, they break down pollutants in exhaust to non toxic compounds. For example, they change nitrogen oxide to harmless nitrogen and oxygen gases. Increase alternative energy sources. So, developing alternative energy sources is important. What are some of the problems facing wider adoption of alternative energy sources? We looked at solar and wind in prior lessons. We looked at windmills. Technologies are still being developed, and this includes sources like solar and wind. Solar and wind are still expensive relative to fossil fuels. The technology needs to advance so the price falls. I know some people are getting solar panels on their house so that they can harness energy from the sun, but again, these panels are very expensive and they're not widely available. Also, some areas get low amounts of sunlight and are not suited for solar, like this area. Others do not have much wind, so it is important that regions develop what suits them best. The desert Southwest will need to develop solar. The Great Plains can use wind energy, and perhaps some locations will rely on nuclear power. Ways that you can reduce air pollution. Everyone can help. Just use less fossil fuels. And how can we do this? By riding a bike or walking instead of driving, by taking a bus or a carpool, by buying a fuel efficient car, by turning off lights and appliances when they are not in use. You're burning my lights out. My bill is going to be crazy. I grew up hearing that all the time. Using energy efficient light bulbs and appliances, And usually when we buy newer appliances, you may see that, what is that star rating uh, on there that shows that they use resources more efficiently and buy fewer things that are manufactured using fossil fuels. And so all of these actions reduce the amount of energy that power plants and plants need to produce. So what can you do? That's a little video from National Geographic. And there's also another video showing a bulb, special kind of bulb. And those bulbs conserve energy. Um, I'm seeing them more and more, and the prices really come down on them. And I have replaced, they're getting better with putting out light, and they really make a difference. So, in summary, catalytic converters reduce pollution from cars. To reduce air pollution, use either less fossil fuels or clean emissions before they enter the air. And different types of clean energy can be developed for different locations. Some regions are suited for solar, others for wind, and some even for nuclear. So, review. Why is the Clean Air Act important? Why is it important to develop alternative energy sources? And what can you do to reduce the amount of air pollution that you produce? Those are the questions that I have for you. There is a little quiz here, and let's take it real quick. In what year was the Clean Air Act passed? 1980, 1900, 1870, or 1970? All right. Solar energy is often discussed as a clean alternative to fossil fuel energy. What is a drawback to using solar energy as a primary power source? Solar panel technology is very advanced, but still cannot generate enough power to be a primary source. That's not really what we got from the article. Wind and location can greatly impact the amount of sunlight available in an area. Oh, weather and location. I believe we did read something about that. So that is going to be the selection here. Solar panels create magnetic fields that can be hazardous to wildlife. Okay, now they're tripping. Where did that come from? Nowhere. Solar panels are cheap and tend to fail quickly. We didn't get that from the article either. And here, what are the following actions you can take to reduce air pollution? Switch from reusable storage products to single-use plastic bags? No. Avoid driving a car or use alternative transportation methods. Okay. Minimize your use of electricity. Yeah. Drive a car with a large engine that has low fuel efficiency. Is that going to help? No. You have that. Next question. A woman is looking at alternative energy sources, particularly wind and solar, for her home in the country. She needs to consider the amount of year-round sun and wind speeds where she lives, and startup costs. Okay. The impact of air pollution on the community? No. The mean temperature where she lives? No. That's not really it. None of the above. That's not it. What did we say about solar and wind? You got to have sun and wind, right? That makes sense. I've done those. I want you to do the others, and let me know how you do. So that is all that we have for today, and I will see you tomorrow. Everyone be well and take care.